Hey dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel. Today, I can keep my introduction quite brief. Why? Because my guest doesn't really need one, does she? It's Kathryn Morgan, y'all. We finally got her on the channel and we had such a good conversation that I'm thrilled to share with you today on her journey with body image issues. And we share super honestly about, well, she shares honestly about her own struggles, but also we had so many gold nuggets come out in this conversation, especially for those of you who have felt like your body is not good enough. Your body stands in the way of you being the dancer you want to be or having the future you want to have. There's lots of encouragement and practical tips that Kathryn shares, and I chime in often throughout the video just because this conversation was so inspiring. So briefly, if you don't happen to know who Kathryn Morgan is, I'm going to welcome you to her world. You should follow her on YouTube and on Instagram. She's also recently started Kathryn Morgan and Friends on Instagram, so all of her information will be below. Kathryn Morgan has been such an encouraging voice and presence in the ballet community for years. She's had her own YouTube channel, and she shared her journey not only having been a former soloist at the New York City Ballet and Miami City Ballet as well, but also as someone who's been through issues with her own body image and struggles with her health and the way that's affected not only the way her body has looked over the years, but how she's had to deal with that mentally and emotionally. I really admire her so much for the vulnerability that she's had throughout her journey and how she's uplifted others through sharing her own struggles and being really honest about that. That's one of the things I resonate most with each time I speak to Kathryn. So I hope that you will really, really enjoy this conversation. Thank you again to Kathryn for coming on the channel, and also I had the blessing and privilege of being interviewed on her channel. So you can absolutely head to the Kathryn Morgan YouTube channel, and by the time this video is out, my video with Kathryn will also be on her channel. We talk about how to overcome performance anxiety, which applies to so much more than just literal performances, but anytime that you feel those nerves and that anxiety come up around even showing up in a rehearsal. So I hope you'll enjoy not only this video, but that one too. And without further ado, let's get into the good stuff. Hey Katie,
hi,
welcome to my
Kirsten.
channel.
Thank you, I'm so happy to be here. I love your channel, I think it's amazing, and I think you're amazing, so.
Don't make me blush, oh my gosh. I can't blush, for some reason I don't, but if I could, I'd really be blushing, thank you.
Interesting, oh I didn't know that, interesting.
I know.
And I'd also like to point out that we did not both plan to wear blue, it just happened, so great minds.
Great minds think alike, yes. Okay, so I'm just really, really honored that you take the time to share some of your story, your expertise, and just, well, your perspective, most of all, on how we can improve our body image as dancers. Because one thing that, as I speak to more people just out in the world who have nothing to do with dance, one thing that they always echo back to me is like, oh, yeah, isn't that community just eating disorders everywhere, body image issues, or if I bring it up, they're like, oh yeah, I bet that's such a problem. So we're known for it.
Yes. All
of us, whether we've struggled on the extreme or just with, you know, having some bad body image days, this is obviously relatable, is what I'm saying.
Yep.
So can you share your journey with how you felt about your own body over the years, from starting as a teenager or even before to now?
Yeah, and I think going off of that too, anybody who says I don't have a single thing about my body that I don't like is lying. Like, everybody has something about themselves that they don't like. For me, you know, I was never the skinniest one in the room even growing up. I was never the string bean. I remember at 12, everybody was like, oh, she's a cute little roly-poly. I was just round. You know, I just had this little, like, just this little round kid body. I went through a very, you know, as you can see in some of the videos I've done here on YouTube with like the Snow Queen and Arabian, if you go back and watch, I went through a very thin year where I was not eating very much. And that was on purpose. I was trying to be smaller. So that's when I was very much a thin waif. But then the following year I moved to New York and started going to SAB. And I soon realized that in order to be a dancer, you have to eat. It's kind of important. And with the schedule and rehearsing and it was like, oh, I've got to eat. So that sort of came back on. And so I got back to my normal shape. And I look back at myself now and I'm like, oh, I was thin. You know, you feel huge.
In the time.
In the time. You're like, oh, I'm gigantic. But I wasn't. And then it was just sort of like, you know, this gradual thing of I was never the skinny rail one in class, but I did have nice proportions for ballet. And when I was in my best shape, I looked fantastic. Like it was never, oh, she has a weight problem. And I really didn't have a weight issue just simply because of the amount of dancing we were doing. Especially once I got into the company, like it's like being on Broadway. You're on 8 times a week. You rehearse all day long. Like I didn't have time to not eat, and you're just burning it off. Through that time too, there were a couple times that I went up a little bit, went back down, and you know Peter would pull me aside and say, "Are you aware?" Blah blah blah. But it was never a big deal. I'd get it off quickly. But it wasn't until I was 21 when I started getting sick that it became a huge issue. I put on 45 pounds in 6 weeks, and it was just sort of like, what happened? You know, I just shot up huge. And again, huge.
Yeah, for you compared to how you identify.
And, you know, going to doctors and having them say, you look normal, what is your problem? Which at the time I thought they were crazy. It was only later that I realized that the ballet world is crazy. But for me, I think after that, it's just been an up and down battle, you know, with the autoimmune condition I have, with never getting back to, like, I will never be able to get back to that size that I was. And it's just, it is what it is now. But I've gotten a lot of comments on YouTube. Oh, she's a fat ballerina. Oh, you know, you've thought about losing weight. A lot of people took me as a role model, which is fantastic, but by the ballet standards, by the company standards, I was still much too large. And that was then obvious when I got into Miami City Ballet, and it was the same situation. I was taken out of parts due to my weight. I was told, you know, you don't look like a ballerina. Since the autoimmune condition happened, it's been a constant battle. I'm very healthy now. I still have to, you know, my autoimmune condition will always be a thing. But it's more manageable now. I have a kind of range that I fall in when I feel my condition worsen, or I balloon up a little bit and then we come back down. But it'll never be the tiny little thing I was at City Ballet. And it still shows up in my brain. You know, like I have a big performance this April and I'm still like, you gotta lose 10 pounds. You gotta lose 10 pounds before they perform. And it's like, do I really though? So it's still, even though I am this role model for it, even though I am this figurehead for it, it's still in my head that in order to do this performance well, I gotta be 10 pounds smaller. And is that reasonable? No, it's not reasonable. Like it's not, I physically probably can't do that. And it's for me, it's not getting back into the crazy thinking habits of when I was at City Ballet. So it's been like this roller coaster for me.
Yeah. And I appreciate you, as always, sharing in detail about your experience, because one of my kind of personal pet peeves is when people clearly went through something challenging and they'll speak about it publicly, but in such a vague way where it's easy for people who are struggling to be like, well, you're not really like me.
Yep.
You've overcome it because it's probably not as bad as me. But I think since you're so clear, all of us are so clear, like you've really been through the ringer and you can speak from experience on this topic. So I'd love to know, since so many dancers want to get to a place of having acceptance, well, rather, I wouldn't even say so many dancers want to identify with that word, because the word acceptance can be equivalent in our minds to accepting less. It's kind of pessimistic, like just being okay with not being okay, you know? I'd say a lot of dancers, at least that I've talked to, they want to feel confident in their own bodies, but I'd love to ask you about your journey with acceptance and the way you see your own body. How has that been for you?
It's an ongoing process. Again, anybody who says, oh, I fully accept myself and I love myself and I don't have any problems anymore, I'm like, like, really? Red flag, red flag. Again, because still it's one of those things that doing this upcoming performance, I don't know if I can say what it is yet, but like, it's like, oh, it's this big deal. I got to lose the weight. It's still there, even though I know that this is what I stand for. That's sort of what brings me back to being okay with how I look. But wait a minute, this is one of the things you stand for. You are not the tiny little one. You're never going to be the tiny little one, and that's okay because you inspire those who aren't. You are the one that's different. But it's still a thing of like having to fit in, having to be as skinny as I think I can be. But for me, what brings it back is that this is your whole platform. This is what you stand for. And people admire you for it. And so for me, I think one of the things that has helped so much is being honest. And being like, yep, this is what I've been through, this is what was told to me, this is what I think. Then there's a freedom. I don't have to put on the perfect persona. Yes, I'm so happy with my body now, and it's wonderful. No, the more honest I am, the more it's like, I'm free now. They can know this. They can relate to me. So the more I actually openly talk about it to help other people, the more it helps me.
I totally relate to that. I'm so happy you put that experience that I've had also into words.
Yeah.
It's kind of rare for me because putting things into words is like kind of my jam. But you just did it for me. And that's really amazing because you're right. When you have this internal struggle, the more you're able to just get the expectations that like the ballerina mindset can impose on you, like you have to be perfect for everyone. If you're going to be a role model, you can't struggle. Like that very absolute kind of way of thinking that is very common within the ballet world because it's trained into us through our technical training process. Very absolute, very black and white, very strict. And so the more that we can bring those thoughts from the darkness into the light and just say, I struggle too, you guys. Yes, there we are. You can say, oh, who are you to be a role model if you're struggling with this? It's like, well, I said it first, so. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Because part of not being honest about it and saying that's wonderful is then you have to live up to this perfect expectation you yourself have created. And it's like, there's freedom in being like, nope, I struggled. Nope, I'm still dealing with this. Yes, I still have autoimmune flare-ups. I really do. I had one a couple weeks ago. And I'm just like, vroom, and it's like, ugh. And you have to learn how to deal with it. And the more honest I am about it, the less I feel like I have to live up to.
Exactly. That honesty is so critical. Even for what we'll talk about on your channel is performance anxiety. Anxiety as a whole, like one contributing factor to that for a lot of people is actually an avoidance of that honesty with themselves, even about what they're feeling or the inner conflict they're experiencing about, I feel I should present myself this way, but here's how I really feel on the inside. And the more we can bridge that gap with radical self-honesty and then expressing that self-honesty outward, it actually helps with a lot of those pressures that can be placed upon us or we place it on ourselves that contribute to that sense of anxiety or just pressure that's unhealthy on top of all the other pressures we face.
Right. Ballet's hard enough.
It's hard enough, y'all. The other thing I want to highlight in what you said is one of the things that seemed to help you the most had to do with your personal values and how you connected to them. So when you go back to that values system that you've developed, this is a platform. I am living a message. And, you know, if I could say it this way, it makes it more authentic when you share that you struggle. It makes it actually more effective in that sense of like, here's what's important to me and here's why I'm doing it. And here's why I still get out there on the stage and work towards acceptance and choose to just live in this body and still dance in it rather than hiding. It's for this thing that's really important to me. And we don't all need a platform like the one you have to live that way.
No, not
because
at all.
That voice in your head that's like, you got to lose 10 pounds. That is a part the psychological part, I'm going to get nerdy, a functionally separate part of your nervous system that has its own values. And the value could be having a perfect image. It could be validation. It could be accomplishment. And so when we acknowledge the values of that part, like, and ask, do I want to live for that? Or do I want to live out the values that are in here? I've chosen them for myself. That is such a path of healing that we can take, whether the topic is body image or confidence.
Oh, absolutely.
Not feeling good enough. Hi, dancers. I really hope that you're enjoying this conversation thoroughly so far and that you're getting lots of actionable takeaways. that will really help you. I want to talk about how to go even deeper in this work to really become the confident dancer you want to be, which is my signature one-on-one coaching program called the Confident Dancer Coaching Program. This is a 4-month experience where you and I get to work together individually to go deep into transforming your mindset, your emotional wellness, and your career strategy to really do that inner work so that you can experience the outward results in your career that you want. Because how many of us get to this point where we realize we can put all the work in, we can try so hard, we can do every workout, we can take every class, but if you feel like trash about yourself, if you don't have that confidence, if you don't have that mental toolbox available to perform under pressure, to go from overthinking and ruminating on a mistake to continue to perform your best. If you don't have that mindset as a performer, it's really hard to be the performer that you want to be and to feel as good as you can possibly feel in this journey that's supposed to feel joyful, right? It's supposed to be our passion. So what we do in this coaching program is we go deep into, like I said, transforming your mindset, your beliefs, all that mindset work that will help you to up-level your confidence so then you can practice different. You can take different actions. You can actually take all that technical work you've been doing and really become confident in it. Because so much of it, it's not how much work you put in, it's also that mental component of how you see yourself, what you believe, what you think. That's what I specialize in helping dancers with so that you can not only have a transformed mindset that helps you to feel your best and perform your best, but then put that into action in a way that helps you achieve your dreams and goals as a dancer. All the while you have support from someone who understands your world, no explanations necessary. So if that is something that you're looking for, if you're tired of struggling with self-doubt, insecurities, performance anxiety, all those mental struggles that are so common in the dance community, reach out. You don't have to settle for staying there forever. There is support that is specialized to help you get to the place you want to be. So if that's something you're interested in, I have 5 coaching spots open for new one-on-one clients every month. They fill up quickly. So be sure to check out the link below to my website, kirstenkemp.com. You can learn all about the program and apply for a free consultation where you and I will talk about your challenges, your goals, talk more about how the program works and see if it's a great fit for you. So I can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to support some of you and enjoy. Let's get on with the rest of the video.
I used to think that in order to be successful in the ballet world, that I still had to be in a major company and have a title. And so like I got back into Miami and I had a soloist title and da-da-da. And so then when I lost it, it took me a while to kind of be like, okay, you know what? That is not the point of view. Yes, you could be in a company, you could be doing these roles, you could starve yourself down to whatever, but that's not actually going to help more people. The people who help and are the role models are the ones who do struggle and speak out about it, who do stand for their morals. And you know what? I just can't be that. And it took me a long time to feel important and validated, even though I have the word former in my title. Because for a long time I hated former New York City ballet soloist. Former, I felt so worthless. And it wasn't until I spoke out, it wasn't until I've done more things or gone to YAGP or gone to these things, thank you so much, that I'm like, okay, this is my path now. I'm never going to be a principal with the Royal Ballet. I'm never going to be a principal with New York City Ballet. I got very, very far. I did principal roles, which is amazing, and I need to remember that, Katie. But your path is different. You're not going to be Marianela Nunez, and that's okay. Your path is this one. And so once I started owning that, and being it, then it got better for me. It was just you gotta be Marianela Nunez to consider yourself successful. Let's face it, very few people are gonna be like her. Like, you're just not. Yeah. Like, she's her own thing. And she's amazing and she inspires people, and I hear she's one of the nicest human beings, which is incredible. Mm-hmm. But that's not my path. And so once I started owning that and owning that, okay, you're going to be the one to tell it like it is. You're going to be the one to be the role model in terms of the body image, the mental health, the encouragement. I love being a mentor now to young dancers. Yeah. And I don't need to be a star ballerina in a star company to do that. Then it got better for me. Yeah.
Yes. And wouldn't the world be so boring if everyone was Marianela, or even if that was the only definition of success? Mm-hmm. It would diminish her role in the world and it would diminish yours and mine. I think actually what you talked about is so applicable to dancers all over the place, especially those who, I've talked to so many of them, I've worked with them, the dancers that have enough talent to get into certain programs and they have some hopes of being a professional, but they feel held back because of their body. And it can be so easy to get in such a bad mental place when you're noticing that it feels like the one block is the body, because it's you also.
Yeah.
How complex is that?
You feel like it's your fault completely.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like, well, I can't be who I am or what I am. And what I am is blocking me from everything my heart wants. It's so hard. And so for them, based off of what you shared, I think what really connects is like your honesty, like we talked about, and you finding that actually through your struggles, you found purpose and you shared it. And just by like taking one step at a time of being like, I'm going to own what I have. I'm just going to be honest about it. I'm going to own it. I can see some version of that applying in the dancer's story who goes to college and doesn't get a professional contract. But then you learn through the disappointment to be like, you know, I'm going to just claim that life is about so much more than being accepted by a company for what I look like. I'm going to own that, you know, for example, I love to model the reality for ballet dancers that for me, I thought life was over as I knew it after I stopped dancing professionally. I thought this existence is second best. But then deep in my soul, I was like, I do not agree with that. No, I'm not going to live that life. And now I live in a city I love. I get to dance when I want to. I don't have to dance for anyone else. I dance, again, my choice because I want to.
Amen to that.
And I can perform if I want to.
Yeah.
And what I've learned over time is like, I just want more dancers to just own everything that they are.
Yeah.
Because when you own everything that you are and you own your path as it becomes clear one step at a time, you're not going to know until you start taking steps into it. Then like, that's where your joy and your power is.
Yeah.
Like you probably wouldn't be very happy if you were with the Royal Ballet, a principal dancer next to Marianella. I wouldn't be. But you're happy where you are, and I'm happy where I am.
Yeah, and we all need to be in these different places. And it's so true. Once you start owning where you are and just going, you know what, I'm going to take this and go with it. It's kind of like we talked about on the Instagram Live the other day, if anybody watched it. How instead of this happening to me, how is this happening for me? Like, my situation is happening for me. Okay, how can I use it? Not it's happening to me and I'm not a principal and I can't. Like, okay, this is what it is. I'm never going to be the smallest one. That's okay. Let's go with it, you know?
Yeah. I think there's kind of a larger trend in the ballet industry that we can take advantage of as dancers who struggle with an injury. I don't have the perfect body or facility for perfect technique, or I don't have the right body shape. I think just like there's a trend in culture of a decentralization of power and success, like there are all sorts of entrepreneurs, small business owners, like we make our own path. Same can be true in the ballet world. And I would love to see more of it. So like for some dancers, you know, I hope this video reaches you guys, and while maybe the path for you is the professional path, right? And you have struggled with body image, or you are, and I hope some of these things we're talking about are practical takeaways for you. And then some of you, I mean, maybe this is we're going to plant some seeds. Like maybe there is more for you. And I want to start undoing that narrative of because you don't have the perfect ballet body, you are less and your path is less.
Yeah.
I don't believe that at all.
No. And the ballet world is changing. It's slow. It's very slow. And I think it's going to be generational. I think it's when our generation is at the helm. But these conversations, these little things, this is how it changes. You know, if we just stay silent and go, well, it's fine, it's what it is, that doesn't create anything. So it's even just having the conversation.
Right. Exactly. I would love to see even, you know, as new smaller companies pop up, there is more diversity in what the company members look like. And they even imagine like the things that I imagine dancers watching right now, the things that you're struggling with as you look in the mirror every day could be the reason why some little kid wants to dance, because they're like, you look like me.
Right.
You have a boxy torso like me.
Right.
So again, theme, your weakness can be your power.
Yeah. Because I have mothers come up to me, you know, with little ones, and they're like, I just don't know if I should put her in ballet because the things that I hear, and And I'm like, then this is how the art form dies. It's because it doesn't change, it doesn't grow, it doesn't expand, it doesn't become more inclusive. You lose your audience members, you use your future mothers who are going to put their children in ballet. Like, it's just, this is how it all shrinks.
Yes. So this has been super, super powerful. I want to just finish off with like one little tip.
Yeah.
Could be big, tiny but mighty for the dancers. And I'm thinking, instead of just saying, what advice do you have for dancers who are struggling with body image? Priorities and those values we talked about are such a big deal. So I'm kind of imagining for the dancers who are struggling, asking the question for them, like, what do you think they should be prioritizing right now?
Yeah.
If they're in that professional pursuit and they're feeling like they have to fight against their body in order to get there, what do you think they should prioritize?
First of all, this is way easier said than done. But you have to look at bigger picture, because if you're struggling with your body and you're thinking about changing your diet or doing weird things or whatever, what happens then? I've seen it many, many times. Happened to me in Miami. Change the diet, stop eating, gets injured, out anyway. Yeah. So it's one of those things that, again, easier said than done. Health comes first, longer term, especially for any dancers who want to have children later on. I see so many dancers ruin their bodies and then get to the point where they want to be a parent. Yeah. And suddenly they can't do it because, oh my gosh, I ruined my metabolism. I ruined my reproductive system. So you have to think about it that way. And again, I know that one part is, I want to be Odette. I want to get the part. But the show ends. The curtain comes down.
Yeah.
And then there's so much more to life. I cannot remember who said this to me, but they were like, you literally are starving yourself to be a 3-hour entertainer. And I was just like, oh, like, it's kind of harsh, but at the same time, it's kind of true. So it's,
the truth can be harsh,
right?
But
and
it's
I was just like,
the truth.
Whoa. And so that is taking it to the extremes, but it's at the same time, like, there's so much more to life. I think for me, what helped get me through any tough times is I had to first like who I was outside the studio to be happy with the work I was doing inside. So if you're a dancer struggling, think bigger picture, think health, start taking care of yourself, and do something outside of ballet that fulfills you so that when ballet is rough and doesn't, you have something else. It's the dancers who don't have that's when their mind just goes down the tunnel, and I see them spiral. So again, way easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly. And there are definitely other resources I love to amplify. Like, there are a couple of people I follow on Instagram who are dietitians or health coaches, like Jess from The Whole Dancer. We've collaborated a couple of times.
Yeah.
To the Point Nutrition, Rachel Fine,
yep.
Chelsea Hester. Love her account. Also, like, they're putting out from their expertise in this a lot of content about the how to do the things that we're talking about. So I'm always like wanting to be generous with like referring and just knowing like I know it's so easy, especially from my journey, to have said when I was a dancer, oh, there was no one talking about this stuff. No one. But I'm like, there were probably people talking about it. I just wasn't looking. Yeah. I just assumed no one, because in my circle. So I always want to expand people's circles and say, like, we're here for you. Yeah. Those people are here. And let's just really hold on to that hope that the more we engage with those resources and these conversations, even with ourselves, the more hope there is.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the conversation, just talking about it, being more aware of it, more people coming forward and saying, yes, I'm dealing with this too. Because I think part of it also is feeling like you're the only one.
Right.
You're not alone.
True. You're not. Not at all. Not at all. Oh, man. Thank you so much, Kathryn.
Thank you,
Katie.
Kirsten.
I feel weird saying Kathryn.
Fine, either one. It's fine. Chris calls me Kathryn. Everybody else calls me Katie. It's fine. Either one. His sister is Katie. So he's like, I'm not calling you Katie.
Off limits. Sorry. Well, this has been a joy. And go over to your channel, Kathryn Morgan. I'm sure you're already subscribed. If people are subscribed to my channel and not yours, I'd be... shocked. Yeah, we're going to be talking about how to overcome performance anxiety. So
yes, and not just performance anxiety on a performance. There's a lot of performance.
Oh, we can call it rehearsal anxiety,
class anxiety,
petite allegro anxiety.
Oh, so there for that
one. Raising your hand to ask a question anxiety.
Yep, walking in the room anxiety.
Waking up, yeah, exactly. Looking forward to that. Yeah. Thank you again, and dancers, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.